By now, the Covenant have long since driven out all the civilians. The city's a pretty dark and empty, lonely place, but thankfully we're not totally by ourselves here. Off in the distance, you'll hear a phone ringing, and the visor not only helps us see better at night, but it's going to help us find objects that we should interact with and pay attention to, like this phone booth here. And at this point, we can establish a connection and uplink to the superintendent. This is a citywide artificial intelligence, a computer system that runs all of the city of New Mombasa. Everything from garbage collection to traffic signals. In many ways, he's sort of like Cortana, just far less sophisticated. So the first thing he does for us is give us access to a whole map of the city. By hitting the back button, we can pull up this three-dimensional interactive map of New Mombasa. And as we pan around, you can just kind of get a sense for how large the city is. It's several square kilometers. It's the largest environment ever made in a Halo game. And once the campaign gets going, you'll actually be able to explore and move about the entire city seamlessly and go anywhere you'd like. So our goal, as TJ said in the beginning, is to try to find clues. We're trying to find the location of our squad mates and figure out what's been happening here in the city. Thankfully, the superintendent's going to make that job a little bit easier for us. These beacons that we're seeing flashing represent the last known location of some of our squad mates. And he's had cameras, and he's going to help get us off on the right track here. So we're going to begin our search today at the ONI Alpha site. And once we select that, we now get an active waypoint that appears in our HUD. But beyond using the map to communicate, the superintendent also has the ability to take control of street signs and lights and respond to the player's location and act as a guiding hand to sort of help keep you on the right track. Now normally we'd have roughly 900 more meters to go to get where we need to be today, but for demo purposes, we've installed a magic teleporter that's going to zip us across town. In the full game, you're actually going to have to fight your way through the city. There's random Covenant patrols that are on the hunt for the rookie. We've also spread around quite a bit of hidden unlockable items that are optional, but if you choose to find them, actually will enhance your gameplay experience.
So here we are across the city. I'm going to pull up the map so you can see the superintendent has led us very close to this beacon. We're not quite there yet. In a previous encounter, we've opened up this gate to the Office of Naval Intelligence, the ONI building. So we're going to move into this space and see what the superintendent is leading us to. As you get close to a clue object, the superintendent will highlight your HUD in blue so you know that the object of interest is near. And if you turn on your visor, he actually highlights the object in yellow just like he did the telephone booth earlier. So he's highlighted this nice little damaged detonator thing over here. We'll get to it in just a second. But before I do that, I'm just going to take a second and talk a moment about the art of Halo ODST. There's been some concern that because we're using the Halo 3 engine, that's 2 years old, the art is going to look 2 years old compared to games that are out currently. But what it's actually meant for our artists, they were very excited about it because all of our tools and technology and engine was ready day one. We weren't developing that as we were developing our art like we do with most of our game cycles. And so they had a full year of art polish time. And it really shows. I think you hold up any screenshot of ODST and we compare favorably to Halo 3. This is just one example of the complexity of some of the skyboxes that we have. The space tether, the elevator that we passed by on our drop down has since collapsed and is burning in the distance. The ONI building looks like it has seen better days, and then there's this remains of a bridge out to that area. So maybe if we turn on visor and grab this clue object, we can find out what happened to this area.
Stand by to just protect online watch. No, sir! We're way off course. We're heading exactly where I need to go.
So each of those blue dots in the map that we saw earlier is a different object that one of your squad mates interacted with earlier in the day when you were still unconscious in the pod. So when you pick up one of those objects, we're actually going to flash back in time and step into the boots of your squad mate and see what happened with him regarding that object and kind of piece together what happened to the rest of your squad. So we're going to jump into the boots of Dutch. Dutch is the guy who handed you the SMG earlier on in the opening cinematic. He has since met up with Mickey, and he and Mickey are defending the ONI building against him.
Hurry up. If you want to do this, be my guest. But this ain't a job you want to rush.
That do it?
Signal's good. Arm the other detonators and pull back to me.
Come on, tough guy. We got to blow this bridge. arm the other charges.
What about those raids?
Forget about them. We got explosives to set. Follow me. Arm the charges. Hey, on your side. Look out! Down! Oh no, what?
Come on, Super, unlock the keypad.
Keep it clean. Respect public property.
If you don't let us trigger those charges, in about 5 minutes, your data center is going to be crawling with Covenant. Do it, Trooper!
Kill their infantry! Don't let them cross the
Bridge
bridge!
toll accepted. Have a pleasant trip.
So now we have a better sense of what happened to that bridge that we were just looking at a minute ago. That's just the very beginning of a Dutch mission. If we would have kept playing, Mickey and Dutch would have had to fall back inside the courtyard of the Oni building, and a much longer, more drawn-out battle with the Covenant would have ensued. But it's a good example of how the campaign is going to work in ODST. You'll explore the city at night as the rookie, looking for clue objects. You can find these clues in any order that you wish. Each time you find a clue object, you'll flash back in time, play through a more traditional sort of high-action Halo sequence, and then resume your search of the city as the rookie. And you'll do this several times until the game, the timelines will converge, and the game will play forward to its completion.